Hey YouTube, I'm on Above Top Secret, and the title of this thread is the weird 1969 new wave sci-fi novel that correctly predicted the current day. I've never heard of it. I'm not a big reader, but it's called Stand on Zanzibar, and I was just wondering if anybody out there has checked this book out or heard anything about it, because when you start getting this conspiracy stuff, you hear about books that predicted the future. Like you hear about 1984 all the time, and I've never heard of this Stand on Zanzibar. But like I said, that's not really. I'm not a reader, so I wouldn't, but it sounds pretty crazy. He talks about how this thing, has predicted similar events, and some of these are downright, right on key. Stand on Zanzibar is set in the year 2010, and this allows us to make a point-by-point comparison and marvel at novelist John Brunner's uncanny ability to anticipate the shape of the world to come. Indeed, his vision of the year 2010 even includes a popular leader named President Obomi. Isn't that freaking wild? Here are some of these incredible predictions. Random acts of violence by crazy individuals often taking place at schools, plague societies, and Stand on Zanzibar. The other major source of instability and violence comes from terrorists, who are now a major threat to U.S. interests and even managed to attack buildings within the United States. Prices have increased sixfold between 1960 and 2010 because of inflation. The actual increase in U.S. prices during that period was sevenfold, but Brunner was close. Yeah, I'd say so. The most powerful U.S. rival is no longer the Soviet Union, but China. However, much of the competition between the U.S. and Asia is played out in economics, trade, and technology instead of overt warfare. Europeans have formed a union of nations to improve their economic prospects and influence on world affairs. In international issues, Britain tends to side with the U.S., but other countries in Europe are often critical of U.S. initiatives. Africa still trails far behind the rest of the world in economic development, and Israel remains the epicenter of tensions in the Middle East. Although some people still get married, many in the younger generation now prefer short-term hookups without long-term commitment. Gay and bisexual lifestyles have gone mainstream, and pharmaceuticals to improve sexual performance are widely used. Many decades of affirmative action have brought blacks in positions of power, but racial tensions still simmer throughout society. Motor vehicles increasingly run on electric fuel cells. Honda, primarily known as a motorcycle manufacturer when Brunner wrote the book, is a major supplier, along with General Motors. Yet, Detroit has not prospered and is almost a ghost town because of all the shuttered factories. However, a new kind of music with an uncanny resemblance by the actual Detroit techno movement of the 1990s has sprung up in the city. TV news channels have now gone global via satellite. TiVo-type systems show people, TiVo-type systems allow people to view TV programs according to their own schedule. And you see, he goes, I guess I might as well finish. I went this far, right? See, in-flight entertainment systems on planes now include video programs and news accessible on individual screens at each seat. People rely on avatars to represent themselves on video screens, but Brunner calls these images, which can either look like you or take on another appearance you select. Mr. and Mrs. Everywhere. Computer documents are generated with laser printers. A social and political backlash has marginalized tobacco, but marijuana has been decriminalized. So not 100% accurate, but pretty close, wouldn't you say, from being back in 1969? I just thought I'd bring this to everyone's attention out there, because like I said, you start doing this stuff, you hear of books, 1984, like I already said, but especially me and my wife actually been looking for it. Fahrenheit 451, neither one of us have read that. And David Laurie Vandenbeek made a video a little while ago, when I think it was actually when the Dorner thing was going on, and said there was an actual part in Fahrenheit 451 that is identical to the whole Dorner situation. So we've been looking for that book actually to pick up and check it out, just to see if that's the case or not. But we haven't been able to find it anywhere, believe it or not, so I guess we have to get it online. But I just wanted to see if anyone out there, because I know there are a lot of freaking bookworms, so I was just curious if anybody's read it, and, if there's anything else in there that's pretty accurate. So I'll put the link below. Thanks to everyone for watching. See you on the next video, and special thank you to all my subscribers and teammates out there. See you all later. Bye.